Coming up on American Medicine Today, artificial intelligence is slowly being integrated into many aspects of our lives, including the field of medicine. Dr. Fahmi Farah joins us to discuss how AI could even help predict cardiac arrest.
Featuring cutting-edge science and medical innovation, touching personal stories of recovery from pain, along with political, social, and healthcare issues plaguing our nation. This is American Medicine Today, brought to you by the Bonati Spine Institute and Alfred Bonati, MD.
Welcome to American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Bonati alongside Ethan Euchre. So a new artificial intelligence-based approach can predict significantly more accurately than a doctor if and when a patient could die of cardiac arrest. So will AI technology become the future of healthcare? Well, joining us to discuss is returning guest Fahmi Farah, medical expert and board-certified invasive cardiologist based in Texas. Welcome to the program yet again.
Thank you for having me.
Why don't you tell us about this new approach led by Johns Hopkins University?
Yes, it's a very exciting time in medicine. As you mentioned, it is artificial intelligence, a combination of engineering, artificial intelligence, science, and medicine at its best. So the promise is great. You're right, it does give us the chance to bridge a lot of gaps in medicine, especially within the field of cardiology, to pinpoint medication and treatment to specific group of patients for the future.
It's been pointed out, some of the developers, from Elon Musk to some of these other companies, have said, let's put a pause on this because it could be extremely dangerous. So specifically when it comes to the world of healthcare, how is it they claim that it's significantly more accurate than a doctor? I just find that hard to believe.
I agree with you, actually, Ethan. I want to make one big clarification here. This new technology will not take the physician out of the picture. What it does do is it enhances the technology we have at the moment and gives us a lot more clarity into what can be done in terms of diagnosis and providing treatment that's more individualized to the patient. And I'm going to give you an example. Going back to this study, as you mentioned, it's very specific to a group of patients who have scar tissue formed in their heart. So when we're talking about scar tissue, we really are talking about a very specific group of patients who've either had a heart attack in the past or they've had significant blockages in their coronary arteries that have caused them to have scar tissue in their heart. And this group of people are at significantly elevated risk of having cardiac arrest down the road. And so what this study did is that they're actually trying to create an algorithm where they can combine a lot of different variables that we are not able to take into account at the present moment. Variables such as their age, their race, their gender, what medications they're taking at the moment, their genetics, like their family history. So they combined a whole array of things, and that's where the individualization comes into picture, which we're not capable of doing right now. Specifically talking about a defibrillator, these people who are at risk of having cardiac arrest down the road, a lot of times these people, we're putting defibrillators in them. Defibrillator, of course, is a device that we put inside the heart to prevent a cardiac arrest from happening. So what this technology does is that it allows us to be able to put it into those who need it most and not those who don't necessarily need it. So I don't think that this is better than a physician, but I do think it enhances technology in terms of what's going to be available in the future.
Quicker information and what they're claiming is more accurate as far as being able to look at all those variables faster than a human can?
That is correct. So they are promising a lot more information. So the gap that exists today, they're trying to bridge that gap so that we can provide more individualized care.
Would you agree? I tend to think that in the current economic climate that we all live in, the hospitals are experiencing staff shortages. There's not enough nurses. There's not enough doctors. So again, at least in theory, it seems like, it's another tool in the belt to use AI, but down the road and looking ahead, are we going to become too reliant on the technology versus the actual human touch and human intuition, that an actual doctor would have?
I think we're very much headed in that direction. It has its pros and cons. Like I said, the human element, at least in the near future, I don't see that being replaced. But in many other forms, we are becoming heavily reliant on technology and artificial intelligence. If you look at something as simple as telemedicine, for example, there's a lot of AI involved, there's a lot of technology involved. Even as simple as like a doctor's visit, before you used to have to go through a front desk person who's checking you in, a lot of that is automated now. You know, patients can actually fill out all their information on their own using technology. The whole check-in process has changed. So we're seeing little changes now within technology, but I do see that going like this in the future.
It's just you need that human interaction between doctor and patient. If it just becomes so sterile
Mhm.
because it's AI, I don't know how that's going to fare for the patients.
I completely agree with you. I think there needs to be a very good balance between using technology as well as not taking that human element away. This technology or any future technology will not be able to take the physical physician element out of the picture, at least not anytime in the near future.
I would like to expand upon that though. Do you, as a physician, do you see any other, I guess, areas of medicine, of health care in general, where AI could,
Assist.
yes, assist and be used? Thank you. I need
No
AI to
problem.
help me speak sometimes.
I do. I do see, and I want to make a clarification. When we're saying AI, artificial intelligence, that's a scary sounding thing. I agree with you because that feels like it's completely taking over the human element. And it's not actually, it's just utilizing the technology to pinpoint things better. And that can be used in all areas of medicine, to be honest with you. And we already use some of those, like in surgical fields, for example, there's robotic surgery. And those robotic surgeries are still not taking the human element off because the decision making at the end of the day is still within us. It still lies within the conversation of the physician and the patient. And that should never go away. So yes, to answer your question, I do see artificial intelligence being utilized in many areas of medicine, especially within the field of cardiology, because within all of medicine, including all surgical fields, cardiology really is one of the most high-tech fields. This is where you see most research being done. This is where you see most cutting-edge technology coming in. So if you see artificial intelligence being used anywhere, we'll probably be the first ones to use it. So it makes sense.
There's also still, I mean, with this, what is it, Chat GPT or something like that. There's an inherent bias they're finding with however this artificial intelligence was programmed. Of course, we're talking about
Two
politics and
different
things
things,
like
yes.
that versus, obviously you would hope somebody who's programming an AI bot or whatever that's going to assist in surgery or diagnosis
Mhm.
and things like that. There wouldn't be an inherent bias, but there's a chance that it could still be there. What are your thoughts?
I agree on that as well. I think that all these artificial intelligence, they use neural network, for example, in the study that we're talking about. There will always be an inherent bias because at the end of the day, it is being created by humans. So, nothing is going to be foolproof. Nothing is going to be 100% accurate. So, at the end of the day, that human element is extremely important, and I don't think it's replaceable.
Neither do we. Thank you, Dr. Fahmi Farah, for being on the program.
Thank you for having me. It was so much fun.